Action Point is directed by Tim Kirby and stars Johnny Knoxville, Chris Pontius, and among others. And this is actually supposedly based on a true story that happened. Loosely based on a true story
of a park. I kind of read up on it, didn't know much about it, so I read up on it when I saw the trailers of this film, and I saw everybody talking about it. I looked it up. I didn't go into too much detail, but it's based off loosely of a real park that existed back in the 70s called, I don't know if it's from the same name, they used the same name, I don't know, but it was took place in New Jersey.
Yeah. And basically this film deals with Johnny Knoxville's character, who runs the park and everything, and basically he's trying to keep it going because there's some competition that's going from another park run by this other corporate guy who owns like 7 other parks, and he plans to like shut them down and all that. And along the way, the film, it also deals with Johnny Knoxville's character's daughter throughout the film, and it also cuts back between because basically the film's set in like the early like 70s, I believe.
They keep the same time.
They cut back to the current times where Johnny Knoxville's character is older, where he's an old man, kind of like you saw in Bad Grandpa, and he's telling his granddaughter about the story and everything. And so the film is basically him trying to keep the park going and do all these crazy stuff with the park by basically making it where people are having fun with no rules, where you take the brakes off and stuff like that, where they start doing the most like
have alligators and bears walking around.
Where they start doing the most dangerous stuff you can think of at a park.
And you know what? This is the type of movie I'm glad they would get somebody like the Jackass people, like Johnny Knoxville and Chris Pontius. Or, they could have added some other guys from the Jackass crew, which would have been cool. Yeah. Which they don't, unfortunately. But I think, if you're going to do something based off of a true story of what really happened at this park, you would get these guys. So I'll give them credit for that.
Yeah, and here's some backstory. Now, this film is basically, while it's based on this supposedly based on this true story that happened, this is basically the second time that Johnny Knoxville has done a film similar to this, where he's doing similar things with Jackass, like you saw in the other films, and instead they're doing a more narrative. Because if you remember, the last film they did with that was Bad Grandpa, but that was an actual Jackass film. This was just happened to star 2 Jackasses.
Basically kind of like The Ringer that he did, where it happened to star some Jackasses.
Or just him, yeah. But to be honest, like, I'm a big fan of Jackass, and I'm always into a lot of these movies that Knoxville does, where he's doing all these crazy stuff, these stunts and stuff. And it was cool to see him and Chris Pontius do this together, because they actually went through a whole lot of behind the scenes stuff, doing all these crazy stunts and everything.
And of course, they did their own stuff.
And it's supposedly Johnny Knoxville spent about 14 days in the hospital after one event that happened. But I love the Jackass film, and so when I saw the trailers of this, I got really pumped for it.
Yeah, I go and see every movie that they do that involves Jackass in theaters. So when I saw the trailers to it, it looked fun. So I was like, I want to give this a shot. And when I read the comments, I was like, damn, this is actually a true story based loosely off of a park that happened in New Jersey, though I think this one takes place in California.
Yeah.
They changed the location.
Somewhere around
They do, because they were going to Las Vegas, which was like a couple hours away.
True.
Like 4-6 hours, I don't know how far, but they actually are in California in this one, but it's actually took place in New Jersey in real life.
Yeah. And upon seeing the film, like, here's the weird thing, was that this film didn't really get, like, much promotion when it came out. Like, it was heavily promoted, but then after a while, it just, like, stopped all of a sudden.
Yeah. This film was like, alright, if you guys follow on Facebook, I like to watch, like, Fail Army or whatever. That's basically a group that pretty much shows, like, how, like, people get hurt and doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
And that they were actually promoting the movie. And other than that, the movie did stop its promotion like 2 weeks before opening, which is kind of weird.
I know, right?
Like you would think that you want to promote it as close as you go, but they actually did the opposite. They promoted it and then it just disappeared, and then the movie came out. I was like,
yeah.
Upon seeing it, I didn't expect, much. I just went in this just want to see the funny stunts. It was average. It was okay. I enjoyed the stunts.
Yeah,
you know,
they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get some of my I'm the same way. Like, I felt the film was average, but I kind of expected a lot better.
Yeah,
if that makes sense, because I love all the other Jackass movies they've done and everything, and so it would have been the idea behind this could have been a lot more had this been an actual Jackass film.
I'm not saying this. We're not saying it's a bad film. It was actually enjoyable, but with an average story. But basically what I'm trying to say is you got Bad Grandpa, Ringer, and then Action Point. This is probably my least liked from
it's
those
mine
three.
too.
So with John Knoxville doing his like Jackass stuff. So
yeah, and to get my pros out of the way, I'll say that Johnny Knoxville is hilarious in this film. Both him and Chris Pontius as well. Like, Chris Pontius, to me, I think really stole the show in this.
Yeah.
Like, he had a lot of outrageous moments and stuff where he's doing a bunch of dumbass shit like you see in Jackass and all that. And you see a lot of the fun, like, stunts and stuff that they do throughout that are hilarious.
Chris Pontius, he's always been, like, one of my, like, top 3 favorites of Jackass. He's so under, like, looked at.
Yeah.
These days, when you ask Jackass fans who's your favorite, and I do agree with him, he stole the show. I thought I really looked forward to him more than I did with Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, in this film alone, I can feel like while Knoxville has his moments here and there, I feel like I had more laugh-out moments with Chris Pontius, to be honest, because he had a lot more of the raunchier kind of humor throughout that I really enjoyed.
But he's got that charisma that he fits so well with what he did with this film.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And I'll also get behind with some of the stunts they do, because a lot of the stuff where they're at the park and everything, where it's mainly them doing a lot of pratfalls where they're going off the rails and stuff when they're on their like slide rides and everything.
Here's a fun fact though, when I did look up the actual park that this movie took place from, half of the stuff actually did happen in the movie. In real life.
Oh,
like the tank part with the shooting the thing, the slides and all that did happen at this park. So
yeah, those moments are really funny. And I do like some of these other running jokes where they have this guy dress up in a bear costume and the dude gets punched in the nuts or he gets ran over and shit like that.
Or he's fucking somebody. Yeah. The movie was actually more raunchy than I thought it was going to be. I didn't predict that we were going to see like I don't want to spoil anything, but there's some pretty, sexual, dirty shit that they show throughout this movie. There's like maybe 5 different times, and I'm like, wow, I didn't think they were going to do all that, but that's funny.
That's what I'm saying. But but beyond that, I mean, I still got into a lot of the stuff they went through with the film, but that's where I pretty much get to my cons. I can say,
now, here's my start of my cons. Like I said, I came in this looking for the Jackass stunts, which worked, but the story was extremely weak written. And you can tell this is where they kind of get to where it's kind of like low budget.
Yeah.
This looks like somebody who wrote this looks like they don't have a lot of experience in writing.
Yeah.
And this movie was really badly edited on some scenes because this movie jumps around and it just doesn't feels like it doesn't coherent with previous scenes. It just feels like it jumps so much.
Well, that's why you can kind of tell that if the movie would have been shot more like Jackass style, I can get behind that because they're basically skits throughout the entire film that are meant to do that to progress the movie.
But this movie was actually
because it has a narrative.
Yeah,
because it has a narrative, to me it doesn't work because you're having sequences that don't really follow in like a very, flow very well.
Yeah. And I mean, you can tell like the person who had these lines, you can basically tell like overall that the people who had involvement in this film, they're having fun, and I get that. And I actually enjoyed the fun parts of what you could tell. They're having a blast.
Yeah.
But they don't have a lot of experience in like a lot of stuff like I said, story, editing,
and there was the
lines that were said in this film. Just some of it just felt like so okay.
Yeah, and that was my other issue too as far as the story. Like, I get that, they were doing the whole thing with Johnny Knoxville's character where because throughout the film it's dealing with him trying to bond with his daughter and stuff. But those were the parts I didn't really care too much with because I was mainly more into the stuff where they're keeping the park going.
Whenever they try to do something serious like that, you can tell that the person behind it can't write a good story.
Yeah.
So it just feels so standard. This movie is extremely standard on the story aspect.
It was, yeah. Definitely. And plus, also, there are a lot of jokes that I felt like were a lot of rinse and repeat what we saw, like, from previous Jackass movies and stuff like that, where you see people get punched in the nuts, or you have a lot of pratfalls. They do that a lot of multiple times throughout the film, and while it is funny in parts, I did feel like they overdid it a lot of the time.
It does get old, unfortunately.
So that really had my attention. With that, really jotted it down for me. Other than that, I mean, there's really more we can go into detail, but that's really like
it's a pretty quick movie. Yeah, it's not nothing special. I'm glad I saw it. I love, like, I would own it. It's not a horrible film. It's, pretty doable. And there are some pro things I did forget to mention. When they do some dirty stuff and some funny shit, it is funny.
Yeah, it is. I did have a lot of laugh out loud moments, especially with the stuff where they are, getting the park going. They have to do a lot of sneaking around with, like, because basically there's a thing where they're trying to fuck over the other parks and stuff. And when they start doing more of that, that's when those are some of the biggest laugh out loud moments for me.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, I could say that I'm glad I at least saw the film, but it could have been a lot better than what I thought going in. So with that, I'm going to give the film an average Joe on the Film Freaks meter.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with him. Average Joe on the Film Freaks meter for me.
Fair enough. And for those of you who have also seen Action Point, and also some of the other Jackass films as well, let us know in the comments of what you thought about them. And if you like what you see here, you can feel free to like and subscribe to our channel, and check out some of our other reviews here on our channel and at filmfreaks.com. And we'll be seeing you in our next review. We'll see you later.
Later.